Hey, welcome to the Fighting Fanatics News Center Playoff Prognostication and Extravaganza.
That's right, playoff week.
I'm your host, Bigragu.
I'm your co-host, Blue Dog. Welcome. We got a lot of playoffs coming up. We have a lot of teams vying for the playoffs. We got teams who have the destiny in their hands.
They're controlling it, absolutely. And before we get into it, I just want to get this out of the way. I don't want to let it go any farther. Dayton, that's awesome. But Dayton won the Battle of Two Cities trophy. They won it, as it stands right now, 7 weeks to 5. I mean, it could get worse. Anyway, congratulations to all the Dayton players out there. Great job for the season, even though 2 weeks came with 1 game wins. Anyway,
we'll take them.
You won, and hats off to you. You have anything to say?
The first team that we wanted to talk about who has a playoff hope and the destiny in their hand is the Quakers. And as you see, Earlham College.
Earlham College!
This is in honor of the Quakers who have made the playoffs.
Yes,
we'll talk
they're
about
in.
their destiny here.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Quakers.
All right, now as it stands, there are 5 teams that have made the playoffs. You have the Lizards, the Cornholers, the Quakers, the Centurions, Crime Boss. Those are the 5 teams that, in all intents and purposes, are in. But there are a couple things that we have, a couple of scenarios, if you will, that will basically decide who the division winner is in the Division 2. Division 1's already locked up. The Lizards ran away with that.
Congratulations, Lizards. Going for the best record ever in the Fighting Fanatics League.
Absolutely. They're 10-2 right now. They're looking to go 11-2, which would lock that up and take away the title from the Fallen Guns from 10-3 of last year. Going into it, you have the Quakers, Centurions, and Crime Boss all vying for the division lead, or not the division lead, to be the champion of the division, and there's only 4 points separating them. So the Quakers at 8-4 basically hold their destiny in their hands.
Correct.
I mean, do you have?
Yeah, the Quakers, if they lose, there's an opportunity that they will lose the division. So the Quakers have to win the division and get the bye week on the first week of the playoffs.
Right, win, and you lock the division up. Nobody can touch you. You got it squared away. Lose, which he is playing Crime Boss, who is only 4 points behind him. So even if he loses, Crime Boss still has to outscore him by 4 points.
That's right.
But there's always that but. You got this team right here, I think, is sneaking up on people. They're not really paying attention, sliding under the radar. That's the Centurions. They're already sitting there at 7-5. My apologies, I don't want to, curse you with a loss already. They're sitting there at 7-5, 1 point away. If Crime Boss wins, the Pandora's box is open, basically.
Right.
You got 3 teams that are all going to be. And it's a point thing. All the Centurions have to do is outscore Crime Boss. There's nothing Crime Boss can do.
And you've been saying from the very beginning of this league and this year, the points do matter.
Points, absolutely. You say, I sat that guy on the bench, not thinking anything of it. You take it too lightly. And at the end of the year, you got 3 teams 4 points apart. So on the other side, on the lower end, you have that 6th spot.
That's right.
And we have 3 teams that are absolutely clawing, scratching, doing whatever they can to get to that. Leather Boys, if they win, they're in. Unless the Spartans outscore them by 73 points.
It's happened.
Or the Guns win and outscore them by 111 points. It's happened, but I don't see it happening. So I think the Leather Boys, if they win, they're going to be in.
But they hold their destiny in their hand. Leather Boys lose,
the winner of the Spartan Guns is in.
So right there you have 2 matchups that everybody's going to be watching closely is the Leather Boys. If the Leather Boys win or lose, his destiny is in hand. And then the Division II championship for the Quakers. If the Quakers lose, it's up for grabs.
Absolutely. And if the Camel Toes blow that and let that Dayton squad in and keep the two vying Columbus squads out of the playoffs, there will be some serious ramifications.
So there was something interesting about the division winners. What have we noticed the last few years?
The last 3 years, or last two, I don't want to get carried away. The last 2 years, both Division I and Division II winners have been from Columbus.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they had been in the Super Bowl.
And because they've won, exactly, they've made it to the Cup, our Fighting Fanatics Fantasy Football League Cup.
So that would mean if the Quakers do not win, once again, the Columbus squad will be in. Division leaders, and we've seen them go into the Super Bowl. So it's up to you, Gramps. We're watching your game.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm hoping for a loss in the Bengals implosion, but hey, you'll have that. I'll take it.
Speaking of Ohio, there's a game going on right now.
Oh yeah, you have the Cincinnati Bearcats are getting mud stomped by Pittsburgh. So, you know, we know who the number one team in Ohio is. That is the Ohio State University. Yeah, Ohio just lost to Central Michigan in the MAC championship too. So yeah, there's only one champion. That's the Ohio State University.
Okay.
All right, I think we have that. Oh, if Crime Boss wins the division, that'll be 3 years in a row he's won that division. Just throwing that out there. So it's kind of in his hands too. If he wins, that's 3 years in a row. Hats off to him. It would be absolutely amazing. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. These matchups and everything like that. It looks like 4 Dayton teams will be in the playoffs and only 2 Columbus teams. So hats off to Dayton for closing that gap and really showing up big this year.
I do believe we have league parity, and I want to close on one note. At the beginning of the season, we put a scorecard together for the drafts, and kind of looked at the draft, kind of talked to some of the owners about their draft, and there's something that we noticed. The worst draft that we had ever seen in the history of the league.
Consensus,
including the owner, who was on his 12th year, I believe, at the time.
Or 14th. We don't know.
We lost count. But the point is, he's about ready to set the win record for the league.
Yeah. He's got 9 of the original 16 guys on his team, and they're starting.
Highest points, best record. Hats off to the Lizards. We thought you'd have a rough year, but
yeah, that hasn't turned out like that at all.
Congrats.
All right, well, this has been the Fighting Fanatics News Center. I'm your host, Bigragu.
And I'm your co-host, Lou Dog.
And we are out.